All right, all right. Welcome back to the Military Retirement Podcast. Is this thing on?
Is it on? Is it on? We don't know.
Hell, hell yeah, it's on. Yeah.
It's
So
on.
we are here live and alive, I suppose, on the podcast. Um, Still working through a couple things with some guests, but we will see. Sometimes things don't work out, especially when you're live. Uh, Anything can happen. That's the beauty of being live. Anything can happen. So we don't have the power of the editing button here
Nope.
at the ready. So 660 love, I see you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
Um,
660 love.
yeah. So how a whole lot of stuff was happening this past week, man, and I jumped on with was it with Raider HQ for a little bit. Anybody out there who knows Raider HQ? We talked a little bit about um, CFR, and then I jumped on his live stream. Not, I didn't jump on it, but I jumped in the comments there. He was on the live stream with CivDiv, the CivDiv, because there's more than one. They were talking about all the updates to 38 CFR 4.10, which came to a screeching halt, right? Because there was so much backlash to it, dude. Um, it was a little crazy, and how quick it stopped. Like 2 days after it was introduced, it was like, were you tracking that, John? The whole
Yeah,
38 CFR thing.
I got it, and I keep hearing the stuff, and I keep watching and listening, and the conclusion that I keep coming to is it actually halted, or is it actually written into law? And he's just saying, okay, we want to pause and take comments, which, by the way, is on regulations.gov. You can go on there, you can comment and add comments to uh, the document, right? But
Yeah,
the law is already, like, it's already passed, it's already signed in, it's already whatever they do. You're the legal expert, you know more about that than I do, but the law is there, it's already in effect. It's just they're verbally saying, let me spit on my
well,
hand and give you the handshake, and
yeah, yeah,
and say that it's paused. But
yeah.
how do you retract that? Like, what do you do to fix that?
Dude, so the word, in this case, words mean things, right? So, uh, halting just means a pause. It doesn't mean taken away. It doesn't mean we're going to rescind this completely. It just means, hey, we're going to, most likely, we're going to put a pause on this. We're going to revisit this thing later on, potentially. So,
Okay.
well, damn, we got a whole lot of comments from
Hey, 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 hey,
David.
hey, hey.
Yeah, I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Hey.
Okay, well, welcome to just filling up our chat, dude. All of a sudden, I just saw like at the cyclic rate. This guy's probably just typing, enter, typing, enter. So unless he's on his phone, then the other way
It's,
around.
it's not sending. It's not sending. Oh God. Hi everybody. Hi. Welcome Bammer. Welcome Bammer IT or YouTube.
Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so a whole lot of stuff going on with the veteran community. I did see also this little nugget here, just kind of flying under the radar a little bit. Let me pull it up to the screen here. This was kind of interesting. I'm going to make is I said David is high as hell. For real. I did see this. This was pretty interesting. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not getting into the political realm, but it has to do with veterans. So I'm putting it up on the screen, right? We can take it however we want. We're not going to get into the whole left, right, center, or whatever it is of this whole thing. But this thing was kind of interesting to me. Vietnam veterans sue Trump administration over Independence Arch plan. Okay, so that Independence Arch is that thing that he's holding in his hand, right? That's what they want to build over in DC. And the Vietnam veterans, I think it's three of them that are complaining that it's going to um, cover the line of sight towards these veteran memorials. So they're looking to put it like smack dab in the middle of all this stuff. So this was pretty interesting. If you haven't seen it already, I mean, there's a couple different outlets that are doing this, that are putting this story out there. And it says a group of Vietnam veterans has filed a lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's plans to construct a massive arch in Washington, D.C., arguing the monument could disrespect those who have served in the military. The suit filed Thursday by a progressive advocacy group, Public Citizen, on behalf of three Vietnam War veterans, and an architectural historian seek to halt construction of the proposed Independence Arch until Congress approves the project and all permitting requirements are satisfied. Uh, the plaintiffs contend that the arch would obstruct the symbolic sight line between Arlington National Cemetery and the Lincoln Memorial, a view they argue holds deep significance for honoring military service members. The lawsuit emphasizes that such an obstruction would be disrespectful to those who have sacrificed for the country. And, the White House has pushed back against the criticism, arguing that the arch would instead enhance visits to Arlington National Cemetery and serve as a tribute to those who served. So there's a whole thing. I'm going to be tracking this. This is kind of interesting to me. Now, like these Vietnam veterans are getting involved and suing the administration for this Independence Arch thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Curious. I don't know what the problem is. Just put the damn arch in. I mean, I've been
They
there a
could.
million times, but
Yeah.
there's so much stuff in DC, especially around the memorial site and then the
Yeah.
Arlington Cemetery. Like, there's so much stuff, and there's so much open space between all of that stuff. I don't know.
I mean, I've been there too, and I can't remember actually like seeing the line of sight, like noticing that line of sight. It just, you're with your family, you're walking around, and you're like, hey, let's go to the next one. I guess I never noticed it, but if you look at the map, they put a map up here somewhere. It's not on this article here, but there's a line of sight from one to the other. And I guess it does obstruct it. So I've never actually noticed it myself. Curious about it.
No.
Okay. You know what? We might have to get a moderator for for these comments, dude. This is a little crazy. All right. Yeah, so a lot of good comments on here on all this stuff that's happening here. So anyhow, any other thoughts on anything going on in the week, John?
No, man, my thoughts are really focused selfishly on myself today specifically, and trying to ask folks out there as well, you as well, like, how do you deal with medical stuff and following up with doctors and going to medical appointments and setting those things up if you've got a million things going on in your life and you've got a whole bunch of work and all kinds of stuff? Like, how do you set the space in between, the free space to actually set the appointment, go to the appointment, make the appointment? I woke up this morning and for whatever reason, I've been okay this week. Did a lot of work this week, put in a lot of 18-hour days this week, well, 12-hour days. And just been really working really hard this week. And then this morning I woke up and I had the back problems have been there. They're documented, whatever. They're in my VA record and my medical records. But it was one of those mornings where I've got that couple bottles of pills that are break in case of emergency. And this morning was one of those emergency situations, kind of where the back was just tweaked. It's like I slept on it wrong or something happened. And as soon as I woke up, like I was trying to just stretch it out and see if that would work out, pop some bones. And that didn't really help. So I went ahead and cracked the bottle of pills open for that. But then I started immediately thinking, like, when is the last one I did my updated MRI? A few weeks ago, and then trying to set up a follow-up for that and just not getting around to it, as well as a couple other medical things that I've been trying to deal with. But how do you figure out, how do you set the time? What do you do to prioritize that and fit that into your schedule? Because that takes a lot of extra work and a lot of extra effort to just get that done. And I'm curious what the audience, what everybody thinks about that and how that goes for you, and what are your tips for that?
Well, I'll tell you, man, I hate that is happening, because I know the feeling when it just comes out of nowhere. I'm probably the worst person to ask about that, because I just missed a VA appointment the other day. So I had so many appointments, right? I had some for my kids. I had
Mm,
2 appointments for me, and then the VA called. They're like, "Hey," or the doctor called, "Hey, we can fit you in here," or whoever it is, the appointment scheduler.
no.
Um, and so I had like 3 appointments spread across that day, and they called me, that VA call reminder that you would get, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I already got that. I'm already tracking it." However, there was a 4th appointment that I wasn't tracking, and I probably should have spread it out a little bit more, and so I overbooked myself, and I didn't make it to that appointment. So I that is my bad. I called the doctor the next day. I'm like, "Hey, completely apologize about this. I shouldn't have missed it, but, I just wasn't tracking it properly. I did not annotate it in my green logbook is what I didn't do." So, and so, yeah, I'm probably not the best person. However, um, normally I live by the calendar. My calendar is all color coded based on what I have going on. I have um, it's coded green for the green logbook. All right, it's coded. I think it's red for military retirement podcast stuff. Blue for my own personal stuff. So it's like I just have to live by the calendar, dude. And my wife, my daughter, my kids have their own color, right? Family stuff. So
No.
um, it it looks like my freaking calendar looks like a Lucky Charms rainbow. Like you opened up a box of Lucky Charms. That's how normally I track this stuff, and I don't leave home without this thing, and this thing has my little logbook thing, so I open this thing daily, and, that's how I kinda go through my day. Like, I look at my calendar in the morning, I get the summary in the morning. I don't know if you can set it up on yours, on your phone,
Yep.
but it will send you a daily summary in the morning. You just put whatever time that you want it to show up. Usually mine shows up around 5 because I'm up around 5:30. It'll spit out a summary about what I have going on during the day, and then
Hmm.
that way I don't miss appointments. For some reason, I missed this past appointment, probably because it wasn't even in my calendar. But it is hard, man. It is tough to keep everything in check, to keep track of everything, uh, because there is so much. I mean, you got school, you got work, medical stuff, and trying to get into medical, with the VA or whatever, or even TRICARE is a little bit tough too because they're so far out as well.
No.
Um, Shit, just the other day, I was sitting there, I was just fine in the morning, and then I'm sitting there watching TV at night, and as I normally do, just to kind of decompress with the wife, we'll watch like an hour of TV. Usually, I'm not on the TV at all during the day,
No.
and
Same.
we'll watch like some silly show or something, whatever. And then all of a sudden, it hit me, man. I had freaking migraine like crazy. And I was like, "Man, this sucks, it's terrible." It's probably because I had drank too much coffee,
Hmm.
so I was just getting that damn migraine, but then at that point, I'm like, "Man," I noticed like, "Hey, I'm running out of my meds, I gotta get a hold of the doctor, but the doctor needs to see me before he can give me any more meds and all that," so it's like a whole thing. So you just gotta keep track of all that, man, because I wasn't aware that I was running low on meds because I don't always take the meds that, for, like, the migraines because I don't have them every single day.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I have a thing on my like a widget for my calendar on my phone, and it actually pulls up like the calendar, and then it pulls up the appointments and stuff for that day. I'm just looking at like how to keep track with the actual scheduling. Like maybe I just need to make myself a calendar reminder to schedule the thing, because that's where I kind of lose track of it. Is like I've got it in the back of my mind, but then I forget about it, and I'm wondering like in the whole time I'm wondering like, is the doc going to schedule the follow up the way that I would kind of expect them to or not? And usually in most cases it's not, or if it is, it's months and months and months and months apart. So yeah, and the headaches, I've been waking up with those a lot lately, like pretty much
Yeah,
daily
yeah,
for weeks.
they happen, man. Alright,
Mm.
so you know what, John, real quick, I'm gonna put a quick pause to the live stream. Not the live stream, but it's still live. I'm looking for a legit, like, somebody to moderate these comments because this shit is getting a little crazy. I'm listening to you, John.
Yep.
I'm going in the comments and I'm like deleting shit, so it's kind of getting a little out of hand.
No,
So if
no, we
anybody
got
wants
a
to,
Navy cop. Navy cop's the moderator.
maybe all right, he is okay.
He's got moderator rights.
All right, let's do the damn thing.
But
shout out
yeah,
to my boy Doublet, man. Doublet's Wood Emporium. That dude he does some awesome work. We go way back. We were also chief warrant officers around the same time. No such thing as too much coffee. Take it back. All right, man. You're right. I take it back. I have this like freaking jug of coffee I'm drinking right now. So you're absolutely right.
I'm brewing the next pot. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man. I see the comments going crazy. I'm just kind of ignoring them. I see them. Meh. Cool.
It might be my like ADD or something because I see colors and I'm like, fucking squirrel.
I mean, I can whip out my handy dandy dog whistle and blow it for you if you want once in a while.
No. Not in my ear.
It's like ginger for your sushi plate, so clear the palate.
He said, hold on, what's the U.S. Army grunt saying? I am used to seeing John on the right side of the screen, not left. Time to switch it up, man. We switched it up for you, man. Easy. Now I feel weird. Now I'm out of whack.
See that? We pay attention to what the audience says. We care.
Yeah. We do anything for you, audience. U.S. Army grunt, we got you in mind, dude. We got you in mind. Yeah. So, man, to answer your question, man, I don't. It just has to be a calendar thing, and you can't overschedule yourself, dude.
No.
I learned that a long time ago, and I still do it to this day. I am overscheduling myself. Especially when you got kid stuff going on. It's like, shit, how am I going to fit this in here? When you got podcast guests and stuff, you got to schedule that stuff in there somewhere.
Yep. He's on the top bunk always, unless he's in Italy. Then I'm on the top bunk. That's how it goes.
Oh yeah, I just saw that comment there. Charlton Zimmerman. That's good. But yeah, man, curious about other people's, everybody in the comments, like, what do you do when you're like kind of getting stressed about potentially over scheduling yourself or too much stuff going on in your life? John, I know you mentioned that you go out to the coast sometimes and just take some time off. You ever thought of that, man? Taking some time off? Yeah.
Until the coast gets wiped out and totally destroyed by a typhoon. Yes. So we had a typhoon here a good couple of weeks ago now.
Oh shit.
It was right around the same time we were like removing all the trees and shrubs and stuff from the garden. Luckily we got all that stuff done beforehand. We left one big tree, which is big tree. It's probably, 15 feet tall, something like that. It's a mimosa tree. So we're like, yeah, we'll just leave that one, right? The storm came through, everything was cool. The garden was clean already, and then it did really a lot of damage. Like I think we're up to like 100 million in damage just for the whole island, not just specifically where I'm at, but yeah, it ripped up the coast pretty bad. Tore up the coastline pretty bad, so they got a lot of that blocked off right now. But the tree that we left up in the backyard, a week later, we had another pretty heavy set of winds that came through and boom, knocked that tree over. so now there's no more trees. All the trees are gone. But yeah, the coast has been beat up, and then the volcano is covered in snow right now, and it's just really just finding the time to get out there to even take time off to do that stuff. It's been super busy, and not of my own doing. Like I'm not trying to overschedule myself. I definitely am not. But just a lot going on, man. And I really, in the back of my mind, is like, I really need to go and catch up with these medical appointments because I'm still fighting my way through the VA process to get my VA ratings up to speed where they need to be. So
still in the fight, man. Still in the fight. Yeah. Hey, real quick, Doublet's Wood Emporium, man. Don't you have a channel? Share your channel information.
Yeah, man.
I think we talked about it before. He mentioned that he does this cool stuff. He makes these. It looks like ribbon racks, like you wear on your uniform.
Yeah.
But they're huge, right? They're like these some like plaques you can put on your wall. These huge ribbon racks look amazing, and it's great for like going away gifts and stuff like that. So shout out to Doublets Wood Emporium for doing that. Yeah, share your channel information, man, or where you're located, dude.
I'm gonna look them up
Yeah,
right now.
it's tough to get everything scheduled, man, especially with families, with kids and stuff. It really is. Um, so I was hoping that our guest would come on. We had a guest lined up, and I was hoping that our guest would come on here, but as I mentioned, sometimes things happen. We can't get folks, we can't get on the same page all the time. Sometimes folks don't read emails in time or whatever the case may be. So hopefully either they jump in at some point, or if not, we just keep this going. We'll go
Yep.
off of your comments here.
Mhm.
Uh, and curious about you folks in the comments. What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about regarding veteran topics? And I'll kind of kick this off a little bit. Or who's this? Buddy Check Radio. I think I have moderation set up. I'm not seeing it. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So did he go from Navy cop to Buddy Check Radio?
No.
Or vice versa? Okay. Is
Maybe.
that somebody else?
I don't know. Good question. Or streams up. I don't think I have the monitor set up on the channel. About broadcast. Maybe he's got multiple sign-ins. Something to fight myself.
Sneaky, huh? He's got one for the comments and one for the views.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sneaky.
You were summary grunt. I'm still notified. Thyroid cancer I had in 06 and skin BCC SEC. Working on those claims. Both also toxic exposure. Keeping up the fight, John.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, that is
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, stay in there, dude. Stay in there. I was getting a lot of I got a few emails on the Green Law Book side regarding VRNE stuff, and I got a couple Facebook messages. I'm sorry, Instagram messages randomly regarding VRNE stuff. One of them was a JROTC instructor who needed a degree in order to continue being a JROTC instructor. And his question was, will VRNE honor that, because he needs it to continue his job.
Yep.
And that's a little tough to explain. There's nothing in Chapter 31 that says that they won't, so I think if it's not covered under Chapter 31, then it becomes counselor dependent. So that was my response to him, because a lot of the stuff is counselor dependent, and it seems like there's almost like no standard. It feels like the wild, like the VRNE is like the Wild West, and it depends on how good your counselor's feeling. If you contact them on a Monday or Friday, right?
Yep.
It depends on how good they're feeling. So my response to him was contact your counselor, sign up for VRNE. Even if you don't think if you don't think that they will actually process it, technically he was approved for it because he had a VA rating that hit the threshold, or technically he rated it, right? So I told him, hey, sign up for it.
Yep.
All they can tell you is no. Just go through all the process, explain your situation. Hey, I need this for my job, or else they're going to kick me out. And most likely they'll work with you if you get a good counselor.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, I think it sounds like, depending on the counselor, of course, it sounds like that would be a valid reason to go to VRNE and pursue that path of getting the degree for that specific purpose, especially because of the fact that he's working with ROTC, and that's something along the same lines. Like mine, it's not work dependent, right? If you're working or if you're not working, it doesn't really, at least in my case and what I've experienced, it doesn't really matter. As far as if you have work, if you're trying to pursue a career that's that your work is a stepping stone towards, then you most certainly just have to, again, just talk with your counselor, talk candidly with your counselor. A lot of those counselors, in a lot of cases, the ones that I've talked to, and it's only been a handful, of course, so I'm not speaking to the whole entire United States, but A lot of those guys and girls are veterans themselves. They understand the veteran process. A lot of them have worked in the VA doing claim stuff prior to doing the VRNE stuff. So it's
Mhm.
nice that they're still within the system and they still have access, and they can even help in some of those cases whenever you, because they'll ask me about it regularly, like, hey, how's your VA stuff going, or your claims okay, any medical things going on. Like, they'll keep up with all that stuff too. And again, it just depends on the counselor. We've said it before, they've got hundreds and hundreds of cases that they're processing per counselor, so they're doing a ton of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of scheduling, like we just kind of talked about as well. So they definitely have a heavy workload, but if you are legit trying to do it, just put it in the application and try for it. And it takes a few months to go through the process. They may say no, but it's definitely worth the effort, because that is hands down one of the best VA benefits that we have that I can think of.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll give you a quick scenario here. So I got approved for the VRNA. I start the 2nd of March. Um, I They sent me the schedule for my first class. Right, I have to be in class 2 times in person. That suffices for the hybrid, for the in-person portion. I just got to be in there twice out of the whole month. So the rest of the time is just online. And
Yep.
me being in SoCal, that means that the E5 with dependents BAH is about 3,800 a month, right? So it's no small amount if you live in a higher priced area. And you just have to hit that threshold for the hybrid, meaning face to face. As long as you're going full time and you have some kind of face to face interaction that meets the threshold, the school said it does meet the threshold for the full time and for the VRNE. So I'm game for it. And I just had to make sure, because I'm like, hey, I specifically asked, does this meet the threshold for full time face to face classes, like butt in a seat? And they're like, yes, it does. So I can report that back to my VRD counselor. Another cool thing about this, I my VRD counselor reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, everything good with your classes? Just via email." I'm like, "Yeah, everything is good. I'm set to start this day." And I asked him, "How does it work with the tech package? Like, I need a computer and stuff like that." And he's like, "Well, do you want a MacBook or do you want like a Windows computer?" I'm like, "No, I'll take a MacBook." I couldn't choose, like, the size or anything like that, but I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, I'll take a MacBook," and it comes with the software already on it, like the window or what the hell is it
Office.
called? Office, yeah, Microsoft Office on it, and, it comes with a printer as well, and then I
Mm.
asked the dude, I'm like, "Hey, what about, like, a seat? Like, an ergonomic chair, maybe a stand-up another desk, something like that, something a little bit better than what I have that makes it more comfortable." I asked for, like, a foot pad, like one of those cushy foot pads. He's like, "Anything else you need, you gotta go through your doctor, your primary doctor. They have you fill out a form, and then you send that over to us," or I think actually, I order it through the VA,
The
and then
VA.
they'll
Yeah.
send it over. Yeah, so all that stuff, man, like, way more than I thought that I'd ever get, and it's crazy because I went online and I saw people getting, like, these packages in the mail, like, "What the hell? Like, they actually send you this shit?"
Mm.
Yeah, they actually send you all this stuff. In order for you to succeed in your class, they send you all this stuff. It's incredible, man. What a benefit we have, dude. What a
Yeah.
blessing.
Really
What a
nice.
blessing. Yeah, let me see if I can find that photo, man. It was kind of crazy. Uh,
I'm gonna pull up a couple of comments here while you're doing that.
yeah, yeah.
Douglas Wood Emporium. Buddy of mine is retiring in a few months. Just finished CMP exams. Not all. Any idea how these changes are going to affect his rating? At the moment, the changes are not going to affect the rating,
They're
because the
halted.
changes are again on pause. If the changes come down, I don't think it's going to affect things too much. Like, I think that at least from what I understand, and you can jump in and chime in on this, the idea is to get to the point where you are trying to maximize for the most honest rating possible, based on the facts, based on evaluations, based on your exams, based on your medical history, to get you rated correctly based on that fact of your medical kind of umbrella of things. I think that's what the intent is. So it's not like they're going in the wrong direction. At least I don't feel like they are. They just want to make sure that they're doing the right thing and getting everybody across the board at the same standard as far as um, fact-based VA ratings and fact-based VA claims.
Yeah. So I second that. Nothing is happening right now since they halted everything. I'd say go forward with the CMP exam as normal.
Yeah.
Really quick, I want to share this. Navy cop, do you care if I share what you just sent me? Just let me know in the comments. Do you care if I share the photo you just sent me? this shit is pretty impressive, dude. Oh, I saw it. I was like, what am I looking at here? All good. All right, here we go. This is a view from Navy Cops command center. Damn.
He got the extra tech package that he's not even in the VRA program.
So I got to figure out how I set Navy Cop up as a moderator on the Green Law Book side. I don't know. I've not set up a moderator before, so I don't know how to do that yet. I don't know, but I will find out. That is the Marine Corps answer right there. So pretty impressive, Navy Cop. I like that.
Sick.
4 monitors, man. I'd go freaking crazy, dude. So real quick, I just want to. He is right. He's or Neo over here. Neo Cop, I'm gonna call you. Yeah. So I saw this on Reddit, and this is the first thing I saw about the tech package when I was just looking it up. Yep. So this person says, huge shout out to my VRC. She's been responsive from the jump. Once she found me entitled earlier this year, and I got all this stuff from my IT program starting this summer. From a 16 gig, 1 terabyte SSD laptop to a standing desk, ergonomic chair, and even a new curved monitor, I definitely lucked out having her as my VRNE counselor. This is everything this person received in the VRNE program. I mean, you see the chairs, the printers here, the desk, the laptop back here, just mouse, keyboard. This is the curved monitor. So all this stuff. In order for you to succeed, you just have to justify it and request it.
Oh.
So now your mileage may vary because not everybody's counselor is as nice as this counselor. But that's what I'm saying is there's no standard and continuity, right? It's like across the board. Depends on how nice your counselor is or how much they want to help you out, So let me see here. How do I set up a freaking a moderator? I'm looking at this. John, you can bring up some more comments if you want. I'm looking
I got
right
one
now.
66 D-Love. Does anyone still find that they concentrate on others around them more than themselves? Call it battle buddy syndrome.
Yeah, very much so.
I tend to it depends on what you mean by focus. This is a pretty this could turn into one of those onion questions where we got to peel back some layers, but just based off of what I'm reading, what I'm looking at, I like to watch out for others. I definitely do. I don't watch out for them more than myself, I don't feel like. But I definitely am selfless in my service to others. I'll just say that. And I don't know if that puts me in the battle buddy syndrome context or not, but I definitely I'm very aware of my selfless service to others, whether that's opening doors, picking people up if their car breaks down, things like that. Like I don't try to put myself out. I know I've done that in the past where I put others in front of myself to the point of putting myself in a bad situation or a uncomfortable situation, and I try not to do that as much as possible now. But I also build things around me where I can do that as much as I need to. So I don't feel like it's a bad thing to take care of others, to watch out for others. Just as long as you don't do it to the point where you're putting yourself in a situation that's difficult for you to get out of. I'll say that. I hope that answers the question. Feel free to drop some more comments. I love your comments, by the way. They're very in-depth and very intriguing. Let me pull this one up. Sojo, you want to go in the military, go into the Air Force, much easier on your body, almost like an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday job, and it gets the same benefits. Yeah, very true. I agree. I would say Air Force first.
Hey, real quick, Navy cop, man, I just added you as a moderator, dude. So feel free to moderate and do your cop stuff, dude. I don't know if you got to reload your stuff, but FYI, I just added you on there. Yeah, you have the honor of holding everybody accountable right now. License and registration, please.
662 Love. Still, this is from Charleston Zimmerman. Did I say that right? Charlton. Still doing that ever since my discharge, and I search out veterans who are injured from service since 1985. Yeah, good for you. I mean, it depends on what kind of things you're doing, what you're doing to look out for other people. And it's generally, in my opinion, trying to lean on selfless service, not asking for things in return, not expecting any magic karma points to accumulate based on what you do. But just in the service of others, generally speaking, without putting yourself in a position where you can't then take care of yourself. Several nonprofits throughout the country, but mostly Northwest. Yep. Perfect.
Good stuff. Yeah, you're doing good things out there, Navy cop. I'll go into the comments here real quick.
Here's one. That should be the next valid comment.
I need to still order my laptop through VRNE. My laptop is like 20 years old, and I had to take an online proctoring service for my midterms, got an A. Excellent. My camera recording got me was so old and grainy. Yeah, I mean, get the updates, man. If it's gonna mess up your progress, request those updates, request those upgrades to your system via your doctor, right? Via your VRD counselor. Yeah, absolutely. My laptop is from, gosh, I don't know what it's from, 2015 maybe. So it kind of struggles a little bit, but we're here. So I requested a laptop from my counselor just to make sure I can keep up with it. I have so many things like connected to the laptop that it's like having to take it off every time is kind of a pain. So rather just get something else. Somebody had mentioned the Air Force thing, right? Go Air Force.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Going to the Air Force
while I was looking at stuff. Yeah. So Air Force stuff. Yeah. So that's a true statement, right? Like I had a talk with a friend of mine. He's a retired Master Guns E9, and he mentioned this was when I was like still living in Hawaii, and he mentioned that his kid was going to the Air Force, and I laughed. I'm like, hey, why not the Marine Corps, right? He's like, dude, the Air Force is a lot easier. Why? We all get paid the same. You know, why put so much stress on ourselves when it's like you're still serving, you're still getting paid the same, you still move around, do the duty station thing. It's just a matter of the pride thing, right? Like the Marine Corps or the Air Force, whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And I thought, okay, well, I never really looked at it in that perspective. But then my wife is former Air Force, so we got to talking about it. And my kid wants to talk about like going to the Naval Academy and stuff. And then he's like, what about the Air Force Academy? And I'm like, dude, keep all options open, man. Go to the Air Force. I don't care. You're serving. And if you do it a 20-year plus career, all the better, dude. You might it's so tough to get promoted in the Marine Corps sometimes that
Yeah.
it's like maybe you can go in the Air Force or the Navy, and not saying that it's a lot easier there, but I mean, the Marine Corps is kind of like a pyramid, right? You cannot get promoted because the next person holds that rank. They only have certain numbers, and it's so small. If people don't retire or pass away, then you can't really get promoted, right?
Yeah.
So especially in the chief warrant officer ranks. So it's kind of a pain, but I feel like there's a lot more opportunities in like the Air Force or even the Navy, and that's the route that I kind of guided my kids to go in if they wanted to.
Yeah. I think the rank thing in the Air Force is also equally difficult, or at least historically speaking, from what I've grown up around. I grew up around a bunch of Air Force folks next to an Air Force base.
Mhm.
The Navy, I'm not so 100% sure about the promotions, but definitely I would say compared to the Army and the Marines, the Navy and the Air Force definitely have way better living standards, higher living standards. Air
Yeah.
Force for sure is at the top of that list.
Yeah, yeah, I will, and I'll it takes me back to thinking about this. So there was a time where I was serving, and if anybody knows about Camp Pendleton, and I was working out in Camp Horno for probably about a year and a half. Camp Horno is in the back of Camp Pendleton off of Basilone Road, almost Orange County, right? And it's like infantry land back there. It's all infantry land. And I had a Marine that we put into these barracks, and they were like these condemned barracks, right? They were scheduled to be torn down, but we had an influx of people that just got off of MU, right? Marine Expeditionary Unit, and they needed barracks. So my guy got moved barracks at some point for whatever reason. They're always moving freaking barracks, and I hate that shit. So yeah, 53 area, yeah, Doublet's Wood Emporium. So this dude, I'm like, hey, how's your new barracks room, right? And he's like, it sucks, it's terrible. And uh, I went around, being I was probably a corporal at the time, this is back in the day, and I went around to go check the barracks rooms and all that stuff. And sure enough, this dude, you had to touch wires together to turn on your light. Like there was no light, excuse me, but there was no light switch, man. And I was like, You got to be out of your mind, man." I went down to the barracks manager. I'm like, "Hey, what the hell is this?" They're like, "Oh, they're not giving us money to fix all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's like one of the last barracks. It's already condemned." So, we put up a stink about that, brought it up to my staff and COs and OICs and all that. But it's incredible. Yeah. And then you go to like the Air Force side, and they have like dorms,
Yep.
like college dorms, it looks like, right?
Yep.
And it wasn't like me living 3 or 4 to a room when I was in Camp Pendleton. No, that sucked. You get your dorm nowadays.
Yeah, same in the Army. I mean, they've improved it slightly over the years, but I remember being in 3 and 4 man, 2 man, 3 man, 4 man rooms, and yeah, the barrack situation was not great. Even and I think Navy Cop mentioned something about it too, but in Berlin, some breakfast at a Navy dining facility, or sorry, Air Force dining facility. I experienced the same thing downrange as well, going to the Air Force side of things on an Air Force base versus the
Yeah.
Army base downrange. And just two totally different, like night and day, totally different worlds. You can see it like side by side, where the Army side was, and you can see the split, the division or whatever, the road that separates them, and then the Air Force side, night and day, night and day.
Yeah, I remember going to the dining facility. It wasn't the chow hall, right?
Yeah.
The Marine Corps calls it the mess hall or chow hall. These dining facilities in the Air Force was, I remember going into one, and it was like they pick up your tray for you, and I'm like, "What the hell?" It was incredible. I felt like I had to go in my dress blues or something, right? It was like
Mm.
it was like a 5-star military dining experience. But I will say the best chow, the best lunch I've ever had was when I was deployed. That was the best food I've ever had. Um, Specifically in Camp Al Taqaddum. Now, when I went to Al Assad, that was like you were in this mess hall, but it was like built by with plywood. It was kind of dark and dingy, right?
Mm.
But the one in TQ was a nice built up facility. It was yeah, pretty nice, and they had like Baskin Robbins in the back, all the ice cream you could have, you can want. Sometimes they'd have steak and lobster. You know, it's like they fed you well out there. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Air Forces. If I had to do it all over again, it would be Air Force, and then second would be Navy, and then I don't even think I would think about Army or Marines at that either. Wouldn't even
I
think
don't
about
know,
it.
man. I'd do it all over again if I could. I'd do it
Yeah.
all over again. Try the Marine Corps again. Um, the Navy over in Newport. I spent a lot of time in Newport, Rhode Island, and over in
Mm.
Newport, the Navy has a nice dining facility out there. But the NAPS folks, the ones who are going through like the officer training, like the OCS, they go out there. So you constantly hear, and they're run by Marine Corps drill instructors, right? Like second tour drill instructors, usually gunnery sergeant or above, E7 or above, and you just hear the whole time while you're eating, just say, "Hey, sit up straight, blah, blah, get out," you know, just like all this trash. But it's funny. It's funny to see all that. But they have an excellent dining facility right next to the water over in Newport. Newport's nice anyway, as it is. If you ever get a chance to go out there, beautiful out there. See if I'm getting any messages from nothing yet from our guy, huh?
Nope.
Okay. Well, might not happen.
All
Might
gravy.
not happen.
All
Yeah.
gravy.
So let me go back to the comments here. October 2025 vet. Man, we have to update that, huh? To 2026, or is that's the day he retired, I think, October 2025. Promotion is hard in the USAF as well. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. The U.S. Air Force, I think, is very technologically advanced. I believe that there's a lot of intelligence within the ranks. Not to say that there's none in all the other branches, but I believe that it can be tough. All branches are pyramid. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So
Pyramid scheme.
like in my MOS, there was only one Chief Warrant Officer 5, and I think like 2 Chief Warrant Officer 4s, and sprinkle like I don't know, like 6 Chief Warrant Officer 3s or something like that. So it was tough to get promoted until like the 5 moves out. One of the 4s can move up. That opens up. You know, it's kind of like it opens up all the slots. So it was a little tough. A lot of folks had to wait for a long time. Let me see. If only I can go back with the same crew I served with back then. Yeah, a lot of us think about that. I think
Mhm.
um, every so often I'll stop by my old section, my old unit, just when I'm driving around. Right, like when I stop by base and go to the commissary or whatever. Every so often I'll stop by my old unit, and I don't remember. I don't know a lot of the new faces. You know, the only faces I remember to this day are, or that I know of that I worked with, was the lieutenant colonel there, who was a major when I worked there, and then like one of the corporals. Maybe that's it. Everybody else is brand new. So except for like the civilians out there. So I make it a point to go over there and just kind of introduce myself every so often. You know, just every couple of months, like, hey, whatever. I used to work here. I used to run this place. Just seeing what's changed, who's in here. They still got my little picture up on the wall and all that as one of the folks that ran the place. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome, man.
Mhm.
So it's always good to go back and see. And I have the honor and privilege of living so close to it that I can
Yep.
just pop my head in every so often.
Yeah, I have been back to my old unit in a couple of years. It's been, I think the last time was just before I PCS'd all my stuff and moved all my stuff. Stopped by and said hi. But yeah, it's good to I keep up with a lot of folks from older units, especially from initial first unit in the Army. We have an actual Facebook page for our unit that was there before disbanded. and now
Mhm.
recently revived again. I forget where, but they have like an alumni Facebook group. I think they have them for most units out there. And that's a good way to keep up with people and reminisce over old times, and also re reconnect with folks that you may have not talked to or heard of in quite some time. And you can find a bunch of old battle buddies and stuff like that on some of those Facebook groups.
So I was you mentioned reminisce and the old folks, right? I was talking, can't recall who it was. I'm trying to come up with the name, the face in my mind, but this person had mentioned that a lot of veterans um, live too much in the past and don't embrace their current chapter of their life. Gosh, who the hell was I talking to about that? And this was just like 2 weeks ago. It might have been like a psychologist friend or somebody. Um, mentioned that specifically the folks that wear the little hats, right? Like Afghanistan or Iraq veteran or Vietnam veteran or whatever.
Yep.
Um, it's cool to be proud of your service. However, don't allow that to be the pinnacle of your life.
Right.
That was just a chapter of your life. Whatever you served, 20 years plus, 40 years plus, whatever. It's cool to be proud of your service, but what are you doing now? To contribute to your life, to your health, to your wellness, to those around you. So just don't let that be the peak of your your existence. Continue doing good things, continue wanting to serve, or do something. And it got me thinking too, because so much of my time is spent like thinking back to like the good old times, right? Our deployment times, the dumb crap I used to do as a young Marine, or those times in like the war room when I'm actually like sitting there talking about things with the other officers or like staff NCOs about work stuff. Hey, how are we gonna complete this by this time? CO needs it by this, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, okay, that was a great period of my time. But what about now? What am I
Yep.
doing now? You know? And I wrote it down somewhere and I was thinking about writing a little article on it somewhere. But yeah, don't let that be the end. Don't let that be the pinnacle of your life.
Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, people don't like change, right? We don't like when things change in the supermarket or they move things on the shelf to somewhere else on the shelf. We don't like big changes in our life. The transition from military to civilian life is a huge change. And it comes with a lot of interesting facets that you don't necessarily think of before the fact happens. And then after the fact,
Mhm.
you're going through it and playing it through your mind. Um, I just feel like people definitely, and it's not a bad thing, right? I mean, we need to remember where we came from, what we went through to get to where we are now, but then also understand that like there's a path forward, and there's, well, probably multiple paths forward depending on which one you choose. And you just gotta keep pushing forward, and always kind of fondly keep the memories in the back of your mind, keep in touch with people that you haven't talked to in a long time. It's one of the things that we need to do as veterans, is taking care of our battle buddies left and right still. And again, going back to the conversation we had earlier, the little short chat about battle buddy syndrome, like selfless service to others. There's a handful of folks still to this day that I still have contact with directly, who we call each other once in a while. We say happy birthday. We call each
Yep.
other on, different times of the year, and talk and reminisce. And those conversations are really nice. And it's nice to go back and recount and relive some things, at least verbally. But also just keeping up with them as far as moving forward in life, if they're struggling, if there's anything going on, and hearing about their successes and their journey forward, moving ahead forward as a civilian in the world, especially if they
Mhm.
didn't do 20 years active service and do a retirement, right? If they got out at 6, but they still keep in touch with you to this day. It's interesting, but yeah, people just don't like change, man. Like we don't like change. We like our routines, we like our habits, and a lot of times, if those habits and routines, at least in my case, I don't know about how you feel about this or anybody else out there listening or watching. A lot of times, if my routine is if there's a break in my routine, that'll kind of set off a chain reaction that messes up a whole bunch of stuff on the back end. And so
Mhm.
like it'll jar me out of my routine and throw me off kilter in my routine. And then I'll miss a step on 2 or 3 things ahead of that in the course of the day or the week or whatever, and then forget things and lose track of time and miss appointments and all kinds of other stuff that happens beyond that.
Yeah, yeah. I find it's hard to come up with a routine sometimes, especially
Yeah.
after having one for so long.
Yeah.
It's hard to get back into something, have consistency in something like working out. I was consistent with that for like 2 weeks, and then I took a day off, and then that turned into 2 days off, 3 days off, and I'm like, okay, shit, I got to get back on this. So it's a root, it's a consistency that I kind of miss. And I mentioned it on one of my live streams here. It's like one of the things that I miss about the Marine Corps, and like I shit you not, I shouldn't miss this at all, but I do. It's the semi-annual weigh-ins. We'd have to sit there and get weighed in, and they do your height and weight, and then and it's a big reason why I left the Marine Corps, because I'm like, man, I'm sick and tired of this shit. I've only actually made weight um, like twice or 3 times in my career. I was always
Mhm.
heavy, but I always made the tape, right? They
Yeah.
take you into this other room, and then they tape your neck, they tape your waist, and they're like, okay, yeah, you're good. And I've always had like a bigger neck, bigger shoulders, and then almost like a V almost, right? Like my waist was always within standards. Um, so I was like, that's the only way I kind of made it through there. Like I was never on BCP or body fat composition program or whatever. And I was just sick and tired of just at the beginning of my career hitting the sauna all the time for fear that I might get kicked out or whatever. They put that fear in you,
Yeah.
and I hated that trash. But now it's like, man, looking back on it, that semi-annual weigh-in every 6 months where you have to go in there and you might be on a list. Or no, actually it's mandatory. You have to go into
Yeah.
like the S1 office or S3 office or whatever. S6, maybe. I don't know. No, S3.
Yes,
And
sir.
you weigh in, you step on the scale, they take your height. Okay, you're within standards. Get this signed off. You're good to go. You're good to go. It kind of kept me in check. And that was like my routine,
Yeah.
right? Okay, always stay in standards because I got this coming up. Always stay in standards. Now that I don't have that and something hanging over my head, it's like, okay, no, now I'm kind of doing my own thing, but I don't really have my own thing. So
Right.
it's a little tough. It's a little tough if you cannot do that for yourself, like stay self-motivated and keep yourself accountable. Um, I'm finding my way, but I'm like, I shouldn't miss this, but I kind of do. I shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, when you take away I think it's called steaks. It's not steaks like T-bone, but steaks like high
Mhm.
stakes, low stakes.
Yeah.
The kind of the resistance, I guess you could call it in the words of Pressfield, the resistance that you need to keep
Mhm.
yourself honest and on track and committed to what you're doing. And so setting those stakes, which they could be external to you or they could be something that you set up yourself, but basically setting them high enough so that you can then uh, push yourself into the mode of like focusing and being able to understand that if I don't do this, this is going to happen, right? Um, I've probably mentioned this book a million times, and I've read it probably 1,000 times. I would guess 1,000 times because I read it in a hard copy format a few times, and then I've also read it as an ebook. I had it on constant playback in my
Mhm.
vehicle for a few years, over and over and over and over. I would just go back and reread it and reread it and reread it in audio, and then go back in the text and mark things up and highlight it. I picked up because of the fact that I'm studying Italian and trying to learn Italian and speak Italian. I picked up a copy of it in Italian, so that I can read it in Italian and then kind of like maybe jar my brain of some of the stuff that I've internalized from reading it in English so many times. But there's a bunch of good stuff in this book about becoming good at things that you do. And it's called The 4 Hour Chef. Tim Ferriss, you've heard of it probably.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The version that I have in my hand is Italian version, and it's not a small book, right? It's pretty thick. But the beauty of it is it's all tabbed out, and it's got a lot of images and graphics and stuff like that, charts. Really great book it's a book about meta learning that's wrapped up in the guise of being a book about cooking. So take that how you want to take it, but it's probably one of the best books I've ever read. It's really helped me out in life with a whole bunch of things, just general stuff, being a man stuff, which necessarily doesn't have to be about being a man. It could be about being a woman. There's also some of that included in here as well, but just really how to set up things and understand things as far as what you were talking about for setting goals, figuring out routines, cutting out what doesn't need to be there, keeping yourself accountable.
Cut the fat.
Cut the fat. Keep yourself accountable. Learn a language. Learn how to do something in 2 weeks versus 2 years. A lot of really interesting stuff in this book. So,
what do you want to learn in 2 weeks versus 2 years?
I mean, there's a, I forget what the chart's called, but there's a chart that was basically put out. I don't know who originally put it out, but I think Y Combinator is where it came from for the purposes of this book. And it was a chart that Tim had been looking at before. And the chart basically shows you like the normal progression of things when you're learning a new skill or when you're trying to master something new. And it basically goes like you learn, you get to a point where you're really good and you think you understand it, and then you hit like a dip in the road, and then there's a plateau, and then it drops off, and then it goes back up eventually. And the whole purpose of that chart is to basically say, okay, I want to take language learning, and normally that would take, based on what the people say, it would take 6 months to a couple of years, right? And he's saying basically like, yes, that's true, but you can also take it in the form of, hey, if I know where I'm going to peak or plateau or where I'm going to have a bump in the road with my learning experience, which is pretty much trackable, like you can put it on the chart and track it and space it out and see exactly where you're going to hit those dips. Because I think that's what happens, right? Same with working out and an exercise program. You hit some dips in the process, and then there's milestones, and then there's a plateau, and then there's another kind of upward curve that goes up as far as getting to mastery of whatever skill you're trying to do, whether it's lifting weights or learning a language. But if you can track that progress and understand where that's going to come into play and at what exact point, then you can prepare yourself for that kind of downturn in your progress, and then understand that on the backside of that, just give it a week or whatever, continue learning, continue doing or doubling down on something in that specific time zone. And then you can get past that and then back up to the level of mastery that you want to get to. It's a little tricky, but it's basically figuring out how to take something that normally takes a few months and condensing it down into something that's actionable, that has a proper sequence to it, because sequencing matters. And then you can achieve those things in much less time than you normally would.
That's interesting. A while back, I read something about tracking your habits. I might have seen a YouTube video on it, tracking your habits for at least 30 days. So it's exactly what I did. It's in my other journal. It's in my room. I keep a journal under my bed, and that's usually my nighttime journal. And I write in there final thoughts before I go to sleep. Right. I got journals around the house. This is my everything, whatever journal. Then I got my to-go journal, whatever. So I tracked everything for 30 days, like everything I did, how much junk food I ate, how much I exercised, how much water, and I made a graph of it, and I figured out where I can cut out the BS from my life.
Mhm.
Like I've been eating too much junk food versus the ratio of working out, right? Or even just walking, going out for a walk or something like that. And it was really eye opening when I put it on paper and I actually saw it versus just like, just living day to day. Cause I don't remember what I did last week. I could have ate a bag of chips and sat in front of the TV for an hour or whatever, 4 hours. I'm not going to remember that. So just seeing it and on the graph, actually taking like a ruler and then graphing it out, how many hours I did of each thing and how often I did it per day. It was really eye opening. If you ever get a chance to do something like that, I mean, it's simple as writing down what you're doing, how much of it, and then graphing it out. Really eye opening. Try it out, and you'll see where your faults are, where you can improve. And for me, it was like just keep consistent in working out. Because as you get older, it's going to get harder, right? It's going to be
Mm.
harder to gain muscle. I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I don't want to be, have a cane if I don't need to. So just got to keep up with that stuff. Um, but yeah, tracking stuff, man, it's huge. It's huge. And if you can, anybody can, as long as you have a hand and you can write and you can spell, you should be able to track your stuff.
Yeah,
So
tracking is
I
important.
I did a book haul the other day, man. I came across this one,
Those
Tools of
Titans.
Titans.
Yep.
So you can go to your bookstore and find this, man. This was it says 28 bucks back here, but it says $1.50 right here.
Yep.
So you can find these things. And I mean, it's not a small book by any means, but it's got a lot of good I remember renting this one from the library. And I'm like, man,
Mhm.
it's got some good nuggets in here from a lot of like successful people. So
Yep.
I put this one on my list for the longest time. Then I came across this book sale that they were having at one of the libraries here and stopped by with my kid. I'm like, hey, we picked up Machiavelli, The Prince, picked up Tools of Titans. There was Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer. A couple of the old stuff. Old Man
Mhm.
in the Sea, which I've read before, but have yet to own it until now. Ernest Hemingway. So a lot of these older books, but this one kind of really stood out to me. Um, just life lessons or lessons from successful folks. Why not? There's so many
Yep.
good nuggets in here. I thought I'd put this one on my shelf.
Yeah, I love Tim's books. Tim's books are really, really, really thick, really long books, but if you can get through them, you'll learn a ton.
Hmm.
Especially that particular book, like above all the other books, the 4 Hour Chef for me is the Bible of living a good life, or at
Yeah,
least
yeah, it
understanding
is.
how to live a good life.
Yeah, it is. So real quick, just gonna go to the comments here really quick.
Yep.
Not turning back 84. I was in the Marines for 6 years, got out in 2012 from Camp Pendleton, went to my old area and everything is different. Didn't see anyone I knew from my service, all new people. Yeah. Curious what area did you go to? I did the same thing after so long. I used to work in gosh, it was 22 area and then they built up a bunch of new stuff around there. That's where all the warehouses are and all that. So they built up a whole lot of new stuff out there and I almost didn't recognize it. Um Salty Old Marine, welcome, welcome. Every time I go to sleep, it's 1981 again. Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully it gets
Groundhog
better,
Day.
man. Groundhog Day. Right. What's the groundhog's name? Pu- Puxatawny
Okay.
Phil?
Yeah, Puxatawny Phil.
That motherfucker, that fucker, he never sees his shit, man. Like, why do we still have that as a thing? It's just a
'Cause we don't
bunch of
like
old
change,
dudes that
man.
look like it's a bunch of old dudes that look like Monopoly players or Monopoly guys, pulling a freaking what is it, groundhog out of a box or some shit. What? I'm like that. Does he really? That dude, that groundhog is scared as hell, man. That shit ain't seen no shadows.
No.
Oh man, yeah, it was okay. Good, good. He was in 22 area, so yeah, we were in the same area, man. I wonder if we ever came across each other. Um, when did you serve? Let me see. Got out of Camp Pendleton 2012. I was in Camp Pendleton. Oh God, no, it was way before 2012, man. Way before 2012. I was out there, and that was my first duty station. Shit, 20. I got there 2004 to 2007. Deployed, and then came back, and then went to 53 area. So Camp Horno. Yeah, so we might have just missed each other. U.S. Army grunt got married in 1981, West Berlin. Awesome, man. Love the history and tradition of it. We lose too much of that these days. Yeah, we do. Navy Cop is asking you to do law enforcement in Naples, man. You learn Italian, but
Yeah.
you learn all the bad Italian stuff.
Nah, I can skip that whole step and not do law enforcement at Naples and just hang out with the law enforcement folks from the base, the Carabinieri and those guys. I'm learning from them. The problem is they don't speak Italian; they speak Sicilian, and that's where the crux of the problem is.
So two different dialects. Is it still Italian, but like a Creole type of Italian, or what is that?
Nah, it's like a Creole type of something. It's definitely Italian, Latin origin, but it's also definitely Corsican, Sicilian. Dialect is much different. It's harder to follow, and they switch back and forth. And then if you're speaking to ones who speak English, like the ones that I do, then they switch between three languages, essentially. So it's tough, but yeah, I hang out with the law enforcement folks. Plus, it's good if you're coming through the gate and you don't have your shit in order. They'll give you a pass once in a while.
Good. It reminds me of I've been wanting to go out to Spain for the longest time. And
Mm,
my part of my family comes from the Basque region of Spain, but they don't speak Spanish for the most part up there. They speak Basque. It's a different
Yep.
dialect, completely different. I was trying to learn it and see about it, but I'm like, a lot of things don't translate. So the Basque language
It's
spoken
like a
in the
cross between
Western
French
Caribbean.
and Spanish, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it's like I speak fluent Spanish. I can understand Spanish. I can understand Portuguese, but
Mhm.
it doesn't translate well. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to learn about it a little bit more. Let's see. Did anyone else watch Groundhog Day repeatedly when their return home flights got delayed? I didn't. The one with Bill Murray? No, I didn't. No, I don't recall that. I've seen it before, but I don't recall watching it repeatedly. It's
Yeah.
almost your own Groundhog Day at that point.
It's a meta
And
groundhog meta.
life after retirement can become a Groundhog Day unless you
It can.
change it. You can't. The same thing over and over. Maybe you don't go out. Maybe you're just hanging out at home on the phone or watching, these two fools on the live stream here right now. It can become a Groundhog Day. You got to break that cycle. Go outside and get some fresh air.
Yeah. Change
Do
the
something.
station so you don't wake up to Sonny and Cher every morning.
Yeah, on that little clock. Yeah. Neapolitan is its own dialect. If you go north of Rhone, Southern Italians can't understand it as well. Same through the country.
Yep. Also in Naples. Yep.
Man, wasn't there something was it in Milan? There was a bunch of folks like chanting like USA, USA, trying to take over like Milan or something for the
For the
Olympics.
Olympics. Yeah.
Man, we Americans are something, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
We are
Different breed.
something. Yeah, a different breed. Oh man. So yeah, all good stuff, man. Once again, yeah, we were uh, hoping to have our guest on here, but as I mentioned, things happen. Hopefully, he's okay, and I'll follow up with him or his folks on LinkedIn to see what's going on. We'll see about getting this gentleman back on. I will be on tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be on tomorrow on the Green Logbook doing a live stream right around noon Pacific Standard Time, talking to Someone from the Tun Tavern Project. So the Tavern Legacy Foundation. Um, uh, Hopefully it goes through. Hopefully everything goes smooth. But expect to see me on there. I'll have this gentleman on there for a good 20, 30 minutes, and then we'll get into whatever else we get into on the Green Logbook. Aside from that, what do we? Oh, military retirement group on Facebook. Uh, Logged in today, got like 10 folks that are waiting to get approved into the group. That's usually the norm. Every week, get about 10 to 20 folks requesting access. If you haven't already jumped on it, check out the military retirement group on Facebook. Um, Great group of folks that are just sharing good information. I often put updates on there for anyone in the group, really. It doesn't matter if you serve 4 years or 40 years, whatever, just you're welcome in there. Though it's called the military retirement group, you're always welcome in there. I think the last thing we had a discussion on the 38 CFR, and then uploaded the update on there as well. So a lot of good information on there. The military retirement group on Facebook. If you haven't already joined, now is your time. Check it out. What else do we have going, John?
Almost at 3K members. Nice. Yeah. Military retirement group, military retirement podcast, Green Logbook. Wild Bills, if you're looking for franchising opportunities, Wild Bills, I think they'll give you a 50% discount on the franchising. Is that what it was?
That is right. So, yeah. So drinkwildbills.com. Actually, let me pull them up on here. Drink Wild Bills. Yeah. So they're run by a Navy veteran, and they're looking to bring on folks to jump on their franchises. They provide 50% off for veterans and first responders on franchising fees. And they also they do this cool thing where they have these trucks. You see these trucks right here, and they go to different events like Sturgis and all these different events. And they're basically a craft beverage company, a craft soda company. And I mean, featured in all these things. We got to get like the military retirement podcast and Green Logbook on here somehow. So we'll see. But franchises wanted, join the legend, sling the soda. Great group of folks. I talked to the owner at one point. He's looking to bring folks onto the franchise. So awesome stuff. If you're interested, there she is. If you're interested, check them out. Drink Wild Bills. Who else do we have? We have
MVMT Financial.
MVMT Financial. Let's bring this guy up here. This is Josh from MVMT Financial, one of our sponsors on here. If you're looking to do anything regarding financial wellness or financial planning, Josh is your man. Retired Army, and he knows what he's talking about. We've had him on the show a couple times.
Yep.
And people like what he says, because he knows what he's talking about. I've even gotten a hold of him for questions as well. So if you don't know where to start and you're about to retire, you don't know what to do with your TSP, et cetera, this is the man to talk to.
Josh Cantrell.
Yeah. Let me see. And then I got American Fidelity Life Insurance. So these folks, if you don't know what to do, this is one of the biggest things, one of my biggest faults when I left the military. I did not get life insurance in time. Before I did my VA disability stuff, before I did anything really. I did it all after the fact, and it got to be pretty costly. I mean, I still have it right now, and it's mostly costly because of the amount I chose. I want to make sure that my family's covered, and my kids, my wife are covered. But these folks can walk you through all the stuff. Again, a veteran started this. It's got all the legacy stuff at the bottom here. Somewhere down here, who we are. Here we go. About us. So as you can see, the history started in 1940 by a veteran. Pearl Harbor was attacked, prompting Charles Woodbury to join the Navy as an aviation cadet. Then he goes and joins all this, Purple Heart, and they still do it to this day. So definitely check them out. American Fidelity Life Insurance, amfilife.com. They'll hook you up.
And then just two more things. Book recommendation, Navy Cop, Sebastian Junger. Sebastian Junger, Tribe.
Yes.
We've mentioned that in the comments a couple times. If you don't know Navy Cop, say hi to
Here.
Navy Cop. Give him a wave, give him a handshake, give him a high five. He's our go-to guy in the back end, not getting paid like us. And U.S. Army Grunt, thank you as well. We love having you here.
Really
love having all of you here. We really appreciate everybody. Thank you for tuning in, hanging out with us, sharing some thoughts, some very interesting thoughts in a lot of cases. And that's it. Next week we have Raider HQ.
Okay. Let's just we'll have to get with him, make sure that we're all still tracking on everything.
Yep.
Given our our latest guests. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yep.
But yeah, we're supposed to have Raider HQ next week, next Sunday. So we will see what happens with that. Hopefully we have some great conversation about what he's about, how he started the channel, where he's going, goals, dreams, aspirations. Talk about his two dogs. I can't remember his dogs' names, but I know like at one point the dog got in his way. He almost fell down the stairs or something. I don't know. Oh, shit. But yeah, Raider HQ next Sunday. Aside from that, I will be live. Yeah, there you go, Luna. I'll be live tomorrow with a gentleman from the Ton Tavern Legacy Foundation, and we'll see where that goes. They're going to be talking about the whole Ton Tavern building in Philadelphia, and it's supposed to be great things, man. From what I understand, I became a part of the Ton Tavern 1775 Club recently, so it looks like a great project. Would love to contribute to that. Aside from that, we have the book as well, don't we? Do you still have it there? Hell yes. So it's an ebook right now. We're working on getting it in copy, but bottom line up front, what you need to know before you leave the military. So even after you leave the military, just 10 short chapters about what we thought about. John and I came together, brainstormed, made these short 10 chapters, and just put it up for sale on Amazon. Just like a bottom line up front book. That's what it looks like. It's like $2.99 on Amazon. We just made it low cost for anybody who wants to, get the information ASAP. What does a cup of coffee cost these days? Not $2.99.
$6, $10.
Yeah, forget that trash. So we will see. Yeah, aside from that, it's been awesome. Great to connect with everybody out there. Shout out to everybody out there who is listening to us. Join us again and check out the Green Law Book as well. I'll be putting out more videos this week. It's slowly creeping into my full-time job now. So we will see. With that, thank you all for joining Military Retirement Podcast. Out here. Next week's show will be interesting. Yes, it will.